A thin wail of wind slipped through the grand marble columns of the villa's courtyard as a small, ragged boy darted between the shadows, breath ragged and eyes wide. He had followed the black limousine all the way from the dusty roadside where fortune had first shone on his battered sandals. The millionaire inside, Arthur Pendleton III, believed himself untouchable, untouched by grief, untouched by mistakes. Yet here was this boy, clutching a scrap of paper and trembling with urgency dot at the edge of the open crypt, where pallbearers draped in velvet prepared to lower the coffin. The boy's voice erupted like lightning. "Don't bury her!" "Ye!" cried, voice cracking. "Your wife is alive!" Silence slammed against the rows of mourners. The coffin lid hung ajar, heavy with the weight of marble-carved roses. The pallbearers faltered. Pendleton froze, one hand gripping the coffin's edge, the other white-knuckled around the folded letter he'd been given hours before. He stared at the boy, incredulous. "Alive?" His voice boomed, echoing off the stone. You don't know what you're saying." The boy stepped forward, raising the letter for all to see. "This is from Dr. Samantha Corrigan. She's at St. Gabriel's Hospital. She says she made a mistake. She says she lost records. She says your wife, she's in room 217. She's breathing." A murmur rippled through the crowd, like waves across a dark sea. Gossip rippled. "Is this some cruel prank? Why would he believe a street rat? This is absurd." But Pendleton's face, usually carved from granite, cracked in half by doubt. One of the funeral directors, inexplicably still in place, hesitated, then eased the coffin open fully. The satin lining gleamed under the lanterns. Pendleton knelt, sliding the letter in the coffin beside the empty space where his wife's body had rested. He pressed trembling fingers to the satin. How could this be?" he whispered. Tears blurred his vision. The boy looked down, eyes flooded with empathy. "She's got a chance, sir," he said softly. "Please, sir, please check." Pendleton rose, turning to the assembled guests. "Everyone, please step back." Panic flared in his eyes, yet behind it lay hope. He strode past the mourners, ignoring the stares, the whispers, the disbelief. He clutched the boy's hand, and they departed the villa grounds at a run. Drive to St. Gabriel's was a blur of city lights and splintered memories. Pendleton pressed the accelerator as if trying to outrun every nightmare that had led him here. The boy sat silent beside him, head bowed, holding the letter dot at the hospital's neon green sign. Pendleton slammed the brakes. He yanked open the door, racing through the lobby past nurses at the desk, past the smell of antiseptic and stale coffee. The boy guided him, as though memory lived in the dirt under his nails. Up the stairs, down the corridor, to room 217. Pendleton's chest tightened. As he reached the door, clear glass gave view to a lonely bed, monitors beeping in rhythmic pulses. A woman lay beneath crisp sheets, her face pale but serene, chest rising and falling. A thin tube led from her nose. Monitors confirmed life. "Eva?" Pendleton whispered. Voice cracking, the woman blinked. Her lashes fluttered like moth wings. She raised a pale hand. "Arthur?" she murmured. He rushed forward, helping her sit up. She grasped his hand. Her fingers were ice. He held her like a drowning man clutches a plank. Behind him, the boy watched, tears streaking his dusty cheeks. Pendleton turned, wrapping an arm around the boy's slight shoulders. "Thank you," he choked. The doctor emerged, Dr. Corrigan, tired eyes and hair in disarray. She placed a hand on Pendleton's shoulder, relief shining. "I'm so sorry," she said. "Your wife's records were switched. I found the error today. I feared it was too late." Pendleton sank to the floor, pulling Eva into his lap. "How? Many hours? How many days?" 26 hours, she said softly. "She's stable now." He looked at the boy. "Your name?" "Miles," he whispered. "Miles Carter." Pendleton felt something shift. In that moment, a connection beyond wealth and grief formed. He lifted Miles onto his other side. Over the next days, as Ava regained strength, Pendleton and Miles became inseparable. Pendleton learned that Miles lived not far from the city's edge, in a cramped apartment with his mother, working odd jobs to keep them fed. Miles had heard the news and followed the limousine, hoping for a miracle dot in the hospital. Cafeteria, Pendleton invited Miles to share a meal. They sat across from each other over burgers and fries, laughter echoing through the empty lunchroom. Pendleton asked about Miles's dreams: college, art, architecture. Miles spoke of building homes for people like his family, so no one would slip through the cracks. Pendleton's heart swelled. He thought of his own empire luxury real estate towers, exclusive resorts. He built walls of marble and steel. Miles wanted to build homes of hope. When Eva was discharged, the reunion was joyous. Pendleton's mansion once draped in sorrows. Vale became bright with laughter. Miles wandered the halls, awe in every glance. Eva welcomed him like a grandson, but life, even at its brightest, holds shadows. One night, as Miles explored the garden, he overheard Pendleton on the phone, voice low and urgent. "Yes, make the arrangements. I can't have this getting out. This boy saved my wife's life, but he's a liability. I'll compensate him, of course. A trust fund, college paid, but no publicity." Pendleton's voice was cold, businesslike. Miles froze. He sank to the grass, heart pounding. He understood. In Pendleton's world, people were assets, liabilities, deals. Even now, Pendleton saw him as a tool, not a friend. Miles lingered in the garden until the moon set. He didn't want to believe Pendleton could betray their bond. He crept away, tears burning, vowing not to return. The next morning, Pendleton and Ava discovered Miles gone. Panic erupted in the mansion. They called hospitals, social workers, local shelters, police. No trace. Pendleton realized his mistake. He'd offered money instead of friendship, deals instead of trust. He raced to Miles's neighborhood, mansion security trailing. He searched dingy streets, graffiti-stained walls, hearing whispers of the billionaire's boy who saved a wealthy woman. Late afternoon, Pendleton found Miles under a crumbling brick overpass, painting a mural of children playing. The canvas was huge, colors vivid against the gray. Miles's brush moved fast, determined. Pendleton hesitated. His suit felt out of place. He approached quietly. Miles looked up, eyes guarded. "I'm sorry," Pendleton said, voice raw. "I offered money." "I forgot, you're not a charity case." Miles's brush paused. He tossed a speck of green paint aside. "You said I was a liability." "I was scared," Pendleton admitted. "Scared of publicity, scandal, scared of losing control." Miles studied him. "You know those walls you build in your buildings? They keep people out. Maybe you need to learn to build bridges." Pendleton's heart hammered. He knelt. "Teach me," he whispered. "Teach me to build bridges with you." Miles lowered his brush. For a long moment, silence hung between them. Then he nodded. Over the following weeks, Pendleton dedicated a wing of his company to social housing projects. He hired Miles as a junior designer. They toured neighborhoods together, spoke with families, shared meals in humble kitchens. Eva recovered fully, joining their efforts with her background in healthcare, creating clinics within the housing complexes. The three of them formed a team: the millionaire, the survivor, the child whose courage had sparked it all. Years passed. The first complex opened on a once abandoned lot. Children ran through playgrounds. Families lived in bright apartments. A plaque at the entrance read, "Carter Pendleton Homes." Dotted the ribbon cutting. Pendleton embraced Miles and Eva. Reporters gathered. Pendleton invited Miles to speak. The boy-turned young man stepped to the microphone. "When I stopped Mr. Pendleton from burying his wife, I didn't realize I was saving more than one life," he said. "Together, we're building more than houses. We're building hope." Flashbulbs popped. Pendleton smiled, proud. He'd learned that true wealth lay not in coffins or coins, but in lives saved and bridges built. And in the quiet corner of the crowd, a small statue of a boy holding a letter stood, a reminder that sometimes the smallest voice can stop the greatest tragedy and spark a change that echoes across a city's skyline.